Hi, my name is Mary-Rosalyn and this is my data assessment project. For my data assessment project, I was not placed in a school, so I used the student that was provided to me in a video. He's a 6-year-old from Mrs. Preston's first grade class. His strengths are his ability to speak about the material in proper academic language. For example, when he was in his conference about his grades, he clearly identified a CVC word with ease. He wasn't prompted or asked what type of word he was. He used it correctly in the sentence, just talking about what was going on. And he's very good at realizing his mistakes. As soon as the teacher pointed his mistakes out to him, he was very good about seeing his mistakes and being able to talk about why he did what he did. A few of his weaknesses were that he added extra letters in some of his words. He misidentified the number of sounds in a word, which sort of goes along with adding extra letters. Those kind of go hand in hand. And he also used the wrong consonant blends and digraphs in words at some points. But all in all, he seemed like a very strong student. The assessment that was used was a phonics and spelling end of cycle assessment. It was a formative assessment given to a small group of students. Basically, the teacher read words to the students, and they were responsible for spelling the word correctly. The assessment was immediately graded. The teacher circled the mistakes and wrote the correct spelling right above the word that they spelled so that they could see their mistakes. And then she conferenced with each student and came up with a goal that the student was going to work on. This was great. It gave the students immediate feedback. It highlighted the mistakes so that it was easy for the kids to realize where they might have done something wrong and where they got things right. And it also gave the student ownership over their education, specifically with when you conference with a student and you set goals together and you get to hear their feedback. It gives them the sense of ownership over their education and makes them feel like they're a part of the conversation, which they definitely should be. The direction of instruction that I would take, there's several different strategies here. Basically, an overview. He just needs some practice slowing down and counting the sounds that are in each word. And this is really, he knows how to do this. He did this in the conference with the teacher, but he just needs more practice so that it becomes an automatic thing. So as soon as the word is read, he can quickly count the sounds and assign a letter to each sound or a group of letters to each sound. And then he also needs a little more familiarity, with consonant digraphs and blends. Again, that's just going to come with practice. So if this were me, I would focus on lessons and activities that revolve around letter sound recognition, specifically consonant digraphs and blends, and also finding the number of sounds in words. Again, it's not that he doesn't know how to find the number of sounds in words. He's actually pretty good at it, from what I could tell. But it's just that it doesn't have the automaticity that it needs to be used in these instances. In that case, he just needs more practice. So I think for him, Elkonin box type activities would be really great. Having markers for each sound that he could tap each marker or slide a marker up for each sound as he was hearing those words. I feel like that would help him a lot. If he was one of those students that really needs to have movement or just as a brain break or anything like that, jumping rope or playing hopscotch, so he would jump for each sound that he heard, could be a really great thing for him as well, so he wasn't just sitting in front of the desk all day if he's one of the types of students who needs movement. Letter sound tiles would be the next step after Elkonin boxes, identifying and adding letters in for each sound. So you would give him a group of tiles that he could sit in front of him, and as you read the word, he would count the number of sounds and then slide the tiles forward that correctly identified and made the word. So for example, if the word was car, he would find the C, the A, and the R. That would just sort of add another level into it. And also using instructional texts that connect spelling and decoding. So when he's reading, make sure that the text that you're choosing have these consonant digraphs and blends in them, and that they're using all of these skills so that he's not only spelling the words, but he's seeing the words in real life as well. Finally, you can even make this more simple. So maybe it's not a whole lesson. Maybe you just walk by and remind him during his writing class or his reading class, remind him of those consonant digraphs and blends. Maybe have a chart somewhere in the room. Maybe you walk by and say, hey, remember we're gonna tap out our sounds today as we write those words that we don't know. Another great way would be to have an index card on the corner of his desk, so just tape it down to the corner of his desk, and as the teacher you could just walk by and tap it, and it would draw his eye over there, and you would have some sort of picture or word that would remind him to slow down and tap out the sounds that he needs to hear so that he can spell these words correctly. Another cool way to do this would be to have a secret signal, so you could sort of give him a secret mission like he was a spy, really get him into it, get him engaged in doing what you were doing, and as you were teaching, when you gave lessons, you could do your secret signal that only he knew. That would be a great way to keep him engaged and draw his focus to what he needs to be focusing on. Lastly, continuing to formatively assess is so important. Continuing to assess the student to make sure that they're improving and to make sure that the interventions that you put in place for this specific skill are helping what needs to be helped. If you're putting these interventions in place and it's not helping improve what needs to be improved, then you need to go back to the data and make sure that what you identified as his weaknesses are his true weaknesses. Because if I put all these interventions into place, but it's not helping him, then clearly the problem lies in a different area or he needs a different kind of intervention. So making sure that you're going back and formatively assessing all throughout this process will really help make sure that you're helping the student with what they need. So that's about it, guys. Thank you so much.